Well, the first wave of Philadelphia Eagles cuts have happened. Now, I didn't want to make multiple videos throughout the day, like this one was cut, and this one was cut. I kind of wanted to wait till the end of the day and do a whole recap on the whole entire thing of the day. Now, this video is being made at 7:42 p.m., so if there is other cuts tonight, I will cover them tomorrow going forward. So we're going to go through all the Eagles cuts today, and then really go through some tweet that came out today that was kind of crazy. I don't know what it means, but it could be a multiple of things happening. So that's going to be at the end of the video. But let's get through the first wave of Eagles cuts.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend. First wave of Philadelphia Eagles cuts. Now, they have to trim this roster down from 90 to 53, and they've cut down a good amount of guys so far as of right now. I want to kind of wait till the end of the day to get all these cuts in one video, unless other things happen tonight. Like I said before, we'll see what happens. But to start out with the tight end group for the Philadelphia Eagles, and yes, Tyree Jackson is gone. He was waived. He will go on waivers, see what happens there. Dan Arnold, the veteran tight end, he was released, so he will, I guess, try to find services somewhere else. Now, your tight end group, your starting tight ends, they are keeping 3 on the roster. It's going to be Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and Jack Stahl, which I think all 3 have played very well. Now, Grant Calcaterra and Jack Stahl have had starting experience, so you know what I mean? They're a lot more, and Dan Arnold had starting experience too, but, it just wasn't good enough against, whoever else was here. So I think Tyree Jackson, hopefully he comes back off waivers and gets another shot next year. I mean, 6'7", really good catch radius. The problem is his health the past couple years, and that's been the biggest problem with him. His health. I think there's a lot here with Tyree Jackson. And he had a very productive third preseason game, but the third preseason game is not enough to get you through to the active roster. You know what I mean? So I think down the line, if he makes it through waivers, comes back to the Eagles on the practice squad, hopefully something could happen there. But Dan Arnold is just, I've noticed about him, even a couple catches I've seen from him in preseason, he's just really slow. He's got no speed. I think every bit of these tight ends are way faster than he is, which is really sad. But, he was brought in as just a training camp, volunteer pretty much. I mean, I didn't really think Dan Arnold was going to make it. A lot of competition ahead of him. Jack Stahl is undrafted, and Grant Calcaterra is a 6th-round pick out of Oklahoma. Played with Jalen Hurts and transferred to SMU because he had a lot of concussions in college. And I think with Dallas Goedert, guy's got to stay healthy. There's always, I think he would have had over almost 1,000 yards last year, but unfortunately, there's always these little nitbit injuries with Dallas Goedert where he's out for, 3 to 4 to 5 games, depending on what it is. And I really want him to have a full healthy season this year. But it's nice to have some back end, productivity with some of these other tight ends. And Grant Calcaterra, I think, is our fastest tight end as of right now. I think he's become very good with his blocking, doing a little bit of the dirty work. And I think he's the fastest guy, gets separation very easily, and can make the catches you need for him to get. So I think he's been very good. And Jack Stahl has got reliable hands, big body tight end, and I think they value Jack Stahl a lot more than, besides saying Dallas Goedert. I think as the backups, I think Jack Stahl is obviously the most valuable backup just because he can block very well, even if he doesn't get much opportunity in the passing game, which he has in the past when Dallas Goedert was out. They threw to both these guys, and they will keep 3 on the roster here. I love this tight end group. I think it's definitely one of the most underrated groups in the NFL, and really like it a lot. So hopefully to see more, and hopefully Tyree Jackson comes back and stays healthy. And I think he was healthy this offseason. I could be wrong. I think he was, but he just wasn't as productive enough. That third preseason game, he got more opportunity. But man, I want him 6'7", great catch radius, man. Tyree Jackson really does excite me in a lot of ways. If he could just get to that next level, I mean, he would be a total monster for his size going into games as a tight end, and very excited about that. So that's your starting 3 as of right now. So 2 tight ends were cut already. Now, offensive line is interesting right now. Now, they've already cut 5 guys already. Okay, so you have Tyrese Robinson is cut, Dennis Kelly is cut, Brett Toth is cut, Josh Andrews is cut, Cameron Tom is cut. Your offensive line right now, obviously, is Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens is your projected starting right guard, Lane Johnson. You have Jack Driscoll that can hold the right guard, right tackle spots, Tylersteen that can hold the left tackle, right tackle, and the physical projections to play right guard as well. You have Sua Opeta as well that can play guard. So, I mean, you have a good amount of guys there. Good amount of guys. And they signed Fred Johnson to a 3-year deal? I think it was a 2 or 3 year deal. I forgot what they signed him to. He's had a very, very strong camp. He actually ended up getting released. They signed him back, and they gave him an extension. He's done a really good job. And Fred Johnson said had a little bit of a meeting after his last practice a couple days ago, or I think it was after the game or maybe a day after, where he discussed he's never felt, I've heard this from a lot of players with the Philadelphia Eagles that they've never felt wanted before. Like, this team really makes them feel wanted. And that's a great thing. That's what Jeff Stoutland does in this room and can play. I don't know if Fred Johnson can play multiple positions, but he should be, obviously, because he wouldn't be in this offensive line room. He wouldn't be in the offensive line room if you can't, if you can't start at a single position, you have to cross train and know multiple positions. So Fred Johnson gets his 2-3 year deal, which is great. Another player we can look down the road to, do a good job with us and get into some good position and maybe, become a valuable backup for us for years. So you never know what you have there. So offensive line is good. I'm fine with this. Dennis Kelly, I was a little surprised a little bit, but maybe his camp hasn't been as strong as we all thought it was going to be. Obviously, Dennis Kelly has dealt with injuries as well. So besides the other guys like Tyrese Robinson, Josh Andrews was another one where I thought he was doing okay, but I saw him get pushed around a little bit, so he hasn't been super stellar. And Cameron Tom, nothing much there. So that's 5 offensive linemen cut as of right now. And I think your depth is really good on the offensive line. I think it's great. So very happy about those cuts and fine with it. I have no issue. Wide receiver cuts. Only one. Deon Cain. It's unfortunate. But the problem is right now is you still have Greg Ward. Besides the starters, let's not talk about Quez. Let's not talk about Oz, AJ, or even Devontae Smith. We're looking to see if they're going to actually keep another 2 receivers. If they keep 5, if they keep 6. The issue I have here is now, Deon Cain got into the Eagles camp, was an MVP for, obviously, in the, I think he played for 2 teams in the, the AAF or whatever it was. I don't know if it was the XFL. I think it was the AAF, and played really well. Was on the Eagles last year, was a big underdog in last year's preseason games and did a really good job and just never made the team. Obviously, Eagles were very stacked at receiver last year, so couldn't really make the team at that point. This year, it's going to be different as well and just couldn't make the team because he was hurt most of camp with the ankle injury. He was out more than 6 days, more than a week of training camp, so he missed a lot of time. I don't know if he missed the joint practices. I think he did. I could be wrong. But he did well in his 3rd preseason game against the Colts. I thought he did fantastic. He got a lot of targets towards him, and they want to see what he could do. And Deon Cain is a very productive player when it comes to the offseason, but just can never make the team because of certain situations, because now you're choosing between Greg Ward as a receiver that's been very, very good. Tyree Cleveland was so good, then got the concussion or the neck injury in that game. I think it was against, I don't know, it was Baltimore. I think it was the Browns game. He ended up having that injury. Tyree Cleveland's been one of the most, he'll come back to waivers. He'll come back to the practice squad, obviously, because nobody will pick him up on being injured right now. But now you're going to have to make a decision where Devin Allen is probably going to get a roster spot. You're going to hold 2 receivers that don't even play receiver at all, barely even get snaps at that position. 2 guys that are on special teams that are going to get roster spots, as Britton Covey's going to be your stellar punt returner, and hopefully Devin Allen is going to become your starting kick returner. So you might have to save a roster spot for Devin Allen now after that last game. They finally put him in at kick return, had that 74-yard return, and, even a couple kick returns he had were pretty productive. Does not hesitate, just starts running, and his vision isn't that bad, and I think it will get better. He hasn't returned a kick for 7 to 8 years. That was the first kick return. I don't think he even had a kick return in Eagles training camp. That's how long it's been 7 to 8 years for Devin Allen. So the Eagles have to make a decision. Is having Greg Ward as a depth piece wide receiver value to us right now, or getting your kick returner to Michael Clay's special teams more value that we really need? And I feel like Devin Allen is more of a need than Greg Ward. I'm sorry to say, but that's just the truth. So Deon Cain, the only receiver that has been cut so far, and we're going to have a lot more tomorrow. So there's going to be some tough decisions down the road, not with just receiver. I think receiver will be clear, but interested to see see what they do there. Obviously, other positions like cornerbacks, no corners have been released or cut. Nothing yet happened with them yet. So I think corner is going to be a very interesting position going forward when it comes to cuts, because the Eagles are very, very deep at that position right now. Now, lastly, okay, those are the cuts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players, I think, unless I'm missing some. I could be missing a couple more, but I don't think so. I've been looking to see who else was released. I didn't see much of anything. A tweet came out from Desean Jackson today, which I was kind of like, oh, I saw this earlier today. I was like, man, what's going on? He said, big news coming soon. Has an eagle emoji, has a cowboy hat, smiley face emoji. So what does this mean? Is there a move coming? Is he signing with the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it means, but what I could probably tell right now is I think he's going to retire week 9. Okay, I think he's or whenever we're home against Dallas. I think it's the first game, or I don't know if it's the second game. I haven't looked at the schedule in a while, so I don't really know. So Desean Jackson might sign that 1-day contract and retire a Philadelphia Eagle. And I think that's what it means, but we're going to find out if this is the case going forward. Not that he's signing here or anything like that, but you never know what could happen at this point. So you guys let me know about that tweet. What do you think about that? What it means? I think it's really retirement, but maybe it's something completely different. I have no idea right now. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We talked about our tight end cuts. It's going to be Dallas Goedert, Jack Stahl, Grant Calcaterra. Your offensive line, we talked about your starting offensive line as of right now, and very good depth there. Obviously, you drafted tylersteen, which definitely helps tremendously, and all the other guys that are there. And wide receivers, they've only cut one, and that is Desean Cain. Desean Cain was hurt most of training camp, and obviously, he showed out in that third preseason game very well, but it's just not enough. And the Eagles have to make some valuable decisions at wide receiver / special teams, because, I think it's obviously between Greg Ward and Devin Allen for a 5th or 6th roster spot if they're keeping 5 or 6 wide receivers. I don't know what they're keeping, but we'll see what happens by that time. And obviously the cryptic tweet by Desean Jackson going forward. What does it mean? I don't know, but excited to see what happens there. But if you guys last this long in this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. We cover the Eagles every single day, and more cuts for the Philadelphia Eagles. The second wave of cuts tomorrow. Most likely, the cuts will get tougher and tougher by the day. And who do you think will be cut next? And what do you think of, obviously, what do you think they do at wide receiver? What do you guys think they do at cornerback? How many corners do you think they'll keep, and how many do you think are they going to, take off? Who do you think's making it? So there's a lot going on here. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope everybody is fantastic. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back tomorrow for more Eagles cuts. Enjoy the rest of your day. Shakes, what up, falls live. Peace out, guys. Peace.